Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's event. My name is Lance Hawley, and I am a prize administrator at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. This is the Solve It prize announcement event. At today's event, you can expect remarks from Department of Energy leadership, a live and exciting Solve It prize announcement, and a panel on support for community scale clean energy projects to foster an equitable clean energy transition. First, I would like to provide an overview of the Solve It prize. This prize is a $5 million competition that aims to empower communities to identify and implement innovative clean energy solutions in a way that works for their unique needs and challenges. In phase one of the prize, which you can see here, competitors were asked to define a target community with a specific energy challenge, describe their team and experience with community engagement, and provide a high-level plan for engaging with that community to determine the best steps forward to addressing the energy challenge. The competition received many submissions for this first phase, and winners are being announced here today. All of today's winners will receive an $80,000 cash prize. Then they will move on to phase two. In phase two of the prize, those winners will engage with their community stakeholders to develop the community's vision for their future clean energy or decarbonization project. An estimated 10 winners will each receive a $150,000 cash prize at the end of phase two. We then move to phase three, the final phase of the prize, where those winners will complete action-oriented plans and prove they have made the most progress toward their clean energy projects. An estimated 3 winners will each win a $500,000 cash prize at the end of phase three. To put this competition in greater context, this prize is part of the American Made program. This is a Department of Energy funded prize program that awards cash prizes to entrepreneurs, inventors, community organizations, businesses, and more for demonstrating innovative advancements in clean energy. To date, this program has created nearly 80 prizes and awarded almost $300 million in cash awards. To learn more about this program and to see a list of open prizes, you can visit AmericanMadeChallenges.org. With that brief overview of American Made and the Solve It Prize, I would like to move us along to our next speaker. Please welcome Melissa Klimbara, Director, Portfolio Strategy in DOE's Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations. Melissa, over to you.
Thanks, Lance. It's great to join you all today. As Lance said, my name is Melissa Klimbara. I'm with the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations. My role is the Director of Portfolio Strategy. For those of you that don't know OSED, we're a relatively new office. So our mission at OSED is to deliver clean energy demonstration projects at scale in partnership with the private sector to accelerate deployment, market adoption, and the equitable transition to a decarbonized energy system. So personally, I've been at DOE for 20 years. I can't believe it's been that long, but it's been amazing to see this new office get stood up with over 25 billion across an array of clean energy technologies and place-based programming, and nearly 250 staff hired in less than 2 years. It's just been a whirlwind. We recognize, though, that one of the challenges to the uptake of promising clean energy technologies is that communities often lack the resources and capacity to consider the best possible solutions or approaches to their clean energy transition. So to help with overcoming this and other systemic challenges, we in OSED have initiated several liftoff enabling programs using prizes, vouchers, industry, other consortia through our national labs. The objective of these different approaches is to lower barriers to entry, get funding out faster to accelerate progress, and diversify our stakeholders. The Solve It Prize is one of these examples of liftoff enabling programs. The prize aims to empower communities, putting them in the driver's seat to identify and implement innovative clean energy solutions in a way that works for their unique needs and challenges. OSED, in collaboration with the Office of Technology Transition and the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, is leveraging these technology commercialization funds to support the Solve It Prize, support the competitors with a demonstrated history of working with communities as they develop a plan to carry out clean energy or decarbonization projects. We are really impressed with what we saw in the Solve It Prize competitors' applications. We saw a variety of teams taking on a wide range of energy challenges, from teams trying to address their energy challenges in island communities, teams looking into geothermal as possible solutions, communities looking to take on industrial decarb challenges, and teams looking to build energy efficiency resiliency with microgrids, as well as other teams that were focused on solutions for low-income households and communities looking for renewable energy for public housing. So a really exciting array of projects that we're seeing. All of this work is driving toward in the right solution for that community approach that demonstrate in the community's own terms what they need as an innovative clean energy solution. The prize, as Lance described, has multiple phases geared towards supporting communities as they go through this process of identifying challenges that could be solved by a clean energy technology solution, engaging with those community stakeholders, creating action-oriented plans for carrying out at least one specific technically novel clean energy or decarbonized project. So we're really excited. We can't wait to see the progress our winners will make in the coming months. And we wish you all the great success in phase 2 of the Solve It Prize competition. And with that, I'll hand it over to Alejandra Moreno, the Assistant Principal Deputy Secretary of ERE.
Thanks, Melissa. And thanks, Lance, and to the entire NREL team for everything that you've done to make this prize happen. And particular thanks to everybody who has participated in the prize. Your ideas and your creativity have truly been inspiring. And of course, I want to offer my congratulations to the phase 1 winners of the Solve It Prize. The solutions that you're fostering here really will improve the lives of everyone living in the communities that you serve. As Melissa said, I'm Alejandro Moreno. I get the real honor of helping lead DOE's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, or EERE. For those who aren't familiar with EERE, we're effectively the government's clean energy innovation hub, or one of them, at least, focused on a broad range of technologies that are critical to the clean energy transition. But what I really want to talk about for a couple minutes is why we're so excited about prizes and the Solve It Prize in particular. We know that prizes, and you heard this from Lance, can be one of the easiest ways to really get the needed funding into the hands of new innovators as quickly as possible. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for innovators with big ideas, especially those of you who are new to DOE, because to build our clean energy future, we know we need a broad range of thought from people with a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives. And to get that, it's not enough just to use our traditional funding opportunity announcements, these things you call FOAs, which can often have a pretty complex application process and operate on a pretty long timeline. Prizes, on the other hand, move faster, and they can seed ideas that, if successful, can get funding later through FOAs or other bigger programs on their path to commercialization. And because prizes move fast, we can see results in 12 or 18 months instead of after a few years. And we know that speed is really of the essence when it comes to innovation and when it comes to deploying innovative solutions in ways that really meet people's needs. And for that, we don't have time to waste. We don't have time to waste when it comes to addressing the unique needs of communities across the country, across the US, many of which are faced with longstanding energy challenges, pollution, disruptions in service, high energy costs. And of course, every community has different resources, different opportunities, different challenges and needs. There is no one-size-fits-all clean energy solution. And that's why we really need to tailor energy plans to each community and technologies to each community. And that's why we need community scale projects. And that's why we need the Solve It Prize, and all of you who participated in the prize and all of you who won phase 1 today. As I said, your projects really make an impact in the communities that you serve. And we know these are communities that have been historically underserved by our energy system, and communities, many of which have suffered from environmental injustices for too long, and many communities that have not always been afforded a seat at the table where decisions around their energy futures have been made. And we know we need to turn that around. DOE has many resources that we can help to make that not the way the future of the energy system evolves. But that does require targeted programs for communities in that situation, including to stand up clean energy investments and improvements, new jobs, new businesses. And that work starts at the local level with the type of work that you've been doing through phase one of Solve It. The tailored solutions you're designing and implementing really have the power to transform the local energy system, to rewrite the stories of high energy burdens, disruptions in service, and toxic pollution. So thank you. Thank you again to everybody who helped make today possible, and will continue to make the work through this prize impact communities directly. Thanks for your work, for your dedication. And I think I speak for all of the department when I say we really can't wait to see what you'll accomplish in phase two. Now I get the pleasure of introducing Vanessa Chan, who's both the director of our Office of Technology Transition and a critical partner of EEREs in developing and implementing prizes like this. Vanessa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alejandro. I'm logging in from the Anchorage Alaska Sustainable Energy Conference, which so far has been absolutely fantastic. The agenda here is packed, but there's no way of passing the opportunity to join two of my favorite offices, OSED and EERE, and my NREL colleagues announcing the phase one winners of our Solve It Prize. And I know all of you are waiting with bated breath, which is why there's three of us actually talking right now to make you wait even longer in terms of who the winners are. And so I just wanted to share with you, though, that DOE's primary mission right now is to move the United States to clean energy and a net zero economy. And that's the imperative imposed by climate change. But the clean transition also is a huge opportunity to improve our quality of life, create tens of thousands of jobs, and remedy environmental wrongs from decades past. This is an incredible, exciting time in history with so much promise. But we need everyone to get into the game. The clean transition is and must be a team sport, and not a single entity, not a single person can get us to our goals. And the government is here to enable the clean transition through policy, funding, and sharing our expertise and facilities, especially our amazing national lab complex. That's our role, and we're fully committed to it. But we need engagement at every level. So the Solve It Prize supports that critical engagement in a really unique way. It targets community-based action and solution. That's key. Communities are the basic building block of our society, and each community is different from every other community, and no one knows a community better than its own members. So my office, OTT, the Otters, Friendly Otters, along with OSED and ERE, designed Solve It to empower communities to identify and implement innovative clean energy solutions in ways that work for them and their specific challenges. Solve It also reflects the principles of the Biden-Harris administration's Justice 40 initiative, which focuses on ensuring that disadvantaged communities receive 40% of the benefits from certain investments, including the historic bipartisan infrastructure law. The competition for this inaugural Solve It round was fierce, and this first group of awardees is amazing. The diversity is extraordinary. Geographically, the types of partnerships, the types of projects. These initial awards are $80,000 each, more than $2 million in total, will benefit 28 communities in 19 states in Puerto Rico. The communities are remote, rural, suburban, and urban. There are multiple indigenous communities, and every community faces significant challenges. The teams working with these communities run the gamut, as well as nonprofits, local governments, community-owned cooperatives, clean technology incubators, utility companies, multi-partner collaboratives, university students. What they all have in common is a willingness to step up and the ability to think creatively about their community's needs and aspirations. And while the projects and solutions they're pursuing are particular to their communities, which is exactly the point of Solve It, there are some shared themes. Obviously, clean energy that improves the local environment advances our national net zero goal is the overarching objective for everyone. Those projects are also striving to support and protect cultural traditions, to alleviate poverty, to create economic vibrancy, and to make their communities more resilient and sustainable. So just like Alejandro and Melissa, I'd like to pass my thanks to every team. I know traditionally the awardees say thank you to the awarder, but I'm really inspired by your enthusiasm for your communities. We absolutely cannot leave anyone behind as we make the clean energy transition. The Solve It winners are keeping us on the right path, and that really earns all our gratitude here at DOE. I also want to wish every team good luck. This was just the first phase. Our winners now have to refine their visions for their projects and compete again for another prize, this time $150,000, and the opportunity to move into the final phase. So celebrate today. but get back to work tomorrow. November will be here sooner than you think, and I'm looking forward to seeing the progress all of you made. And again, congratulations to all the winning teams. And now we're going to share who the winning teams are for the Solve It Prize. So the Phase 1 Embark winners we have are Aloha First, Asociación de Residentes de la Margarita, Bryant Decarbonization, City of Baltimore, City of New Bedford, Massachusetts Resilience Hubs, Clean Energy New Hampshire Energy Circuit Riders, Clearfork Community Solar and Energy Efficiency, Comunidades del Sol, Cooperative Energy Futures, Detroit Morningside Eco District, DU Blue Green Crow, DeQuinn Light Company, East Oakland Neighborhood Initiative Collaborative, Energizing Southeast Alaska, Groundwork Elizabeth and Partners, Hoi'olu Mea'ai for the cultivation of community self-reliance, Just Transition Rural Innovators, Lowlanders for Energy Justice, Michigan Tech Beaver Island Energy Resiliency Initiative, Mojave Microgrid Hub, Power Up Jackson, Puerto Rico Hydro Microgrid Partners, Salish and Kootenai Community Energy Alliance, San Diego State University and Torres Martinez Desert Cahuilla Indians Collaboration, Siskiyou County Job Council, Town of Pennington Gap, Tri-Town Rural Community Driven Energy Planning Team, and White Frog Sustainable Solutions. So congratulations to all the winning teams. And now I would like to pass on to Caroline to talk a little bit more. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much, Vanessa. What an exciting announcement you got to make there. I am perhaps equally excited to get to engage some really fantastic people in a conversation about community level clean energy solutions to foster an equitable clean energy transition. We're going to look at the various strategies DOE is utilizing to support clean energy transitions that are equitable and inclusive, and the innovative community stakeholders and local leaders taking up the call across America. So first, I will introduce a dear colleague, Christine Knapp, who works in the Office of State and Community Energy Programs. She is the Community Innovation and Technical Assistance Program Manager. Next, I will introduce Tammy Black, the founder and CEO of Community Treehouse Center Detroit. I think Tammy is just a remarkable human being, and she has a slogan. I think we should perhaps all have slogans, but Tammy's slogan is, "It's time, let's get it." I hope she'll tell us more about that. And Karine Taylor, who is the Senior Advisor in DOE's Office of Community Engagement, which she'll tell us more about as well, but we think of it as the front door to the department. So without further ado, thanks everyone. I think I see Karine and Christine. Tammy, are you able to come on video as well?
Yes.
Wonderful, because I want to ask you our very first question. I'm hoping you can tell us the story of your community, your organization, and what opportunities you see in clean energy, and what about the energy space is most exciting to you now?
Who did you want to start with? Want to start with me?
Yes, you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tammy Black, and I'm from Community Treehouse Center Detroit. I'm actually the founder and CEO of Community Treehouse Center Detroit. And as you said before, our slogan is, "Let's go, it's time." And the reason our slogan is because that renewable energy is so important at the grassroots level for low-income families. And I want to say, first of all, congratulations to all the winners who are doing the work for grassroots communities to bring these solutions to these communities for some type of relief in renewable energy, to bring these things to our communities, because we need them here. And I am so excited to be here to tell you about our work, that we do workforce development programs for solar installations, and we also do solar installations where we've done 25 homes in Jefferson Chalmers community, where we're saving homeowners in their utility bill. And not only that, we're also helping to save our environment, and also community engagement with the community to tell them what solar really is all about. Because a lot of people really don't know. They don't know what renewable energy is. They don't know the benefits of it, right? So all of these winners, I am so proud of you guys for coming up with these solutions. I know it was hard work, but you guys did it, and you're going to make some changes in communities. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful, Tammy. Thank you so much. And we're so grateful to have people like you out in your community talking to your friends and neighbors, folks on the street about these technologies and the opportunities they represent. I will next shift to Christine, and I'm hoping, Christine, that you can speak a bit about your office's strategy for engaging communities, the different tools in the toolbox that you guys are able to leverage, and what you're most excited about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me, and thanks to all the recipients for participating, and congratulations on the prize. I know that must be super exciting. I always tell folks I come from local government. I was with the city of Philadelphia for a long time before coming to DOE, so I know how hard it is to get the support that you need on the ground to get projects moving. So I'm so happy to see all of you participating. So yeah, I'm with the Office of State and Community Energy Programs. So as the name would suggest, our office is really focused on sort of the local level of work. It's a relatively new office, around 2 years old. And so we're still kind of always building and growing our offerings and our ways of engaging with community. But right now we have a wide variety of program typologies, from those that work with state governments that are sort of at a bigger scale, local governments, tribal governments, and then also with like community organizations and community partners directly as well. And through a mix of offerings, from grant programs, which you might be familiar with, we call them funding opportunity announcements, as well as through like technical assistance programs as well, that are generally more open and accessible. And I think part of what our work has been is understanding that communities are at all different phases of work and need different types of support at different phases, and trying to make sure we're offering the right support at every one of those phases and bringing them along to the next thing that they need, right? So you might need some strategy support or data or just basic understanding of community context in the beginning of your work, all the way through. You need dollars to actually just implement a project that you want to do and that will benefit your community. And so we're trying to provide support all throughout that process. So I hope that you'll take advantage of some of the SCEP programs or other programs throughout DOE as you do your work with this prize and beyond this prize period, when you go even further in your next phase of work.
Thanks so much, Christine. You did such a great job of describing the Secretary's charge to all of us to meet communities where they are, and that provides a wonderful segue over to you, Corinne. You and your colleagues are really on the front lines of that, and engaging and on the ground. I'm hoping you can say a bit about how you go about it. What's your strategy, and what are you excited about?
Well, first, like everyone else, I want to congratulate all 28 teams that were identified as winners here in the Solve It Prize. There were a number of DOE offices, including ERE, MESC, OTT, SCEP, et cetera, that really thought in a holistic way about how to bring more people to the table to solve some of our large energy challenges. And so, today is a really great opportunity to not only recognize you, but, just the efforts that we're making to change how the Department of Energy engages with communities who, again, are at the front line of the climate crisis and also understand their energy needs more than anyone else. Now, for the Office of Community Engagement that was mentioned, we're, a relatively new office that Secretary Jennifer Granholm created with the goal of not only being the front door to DOE for a number of communities who don't know where to start. DOE is, a large agency with multiple offices that overlap, that sometimes, unfortunately, have operated in a silo. And so we see the Office of Community Engagement as a way to kind of be your concierge, so to speak, in terms of figuring out which office has a program that is of interest to a community and how they can connect with them. We have engagement specialists that are divided up by regions, 5 regions across the country. And what we see them doing every single day is going into various parts of the country and having presentations, doing one-on-ones with companies, with communities, et cetera, just to educate them about the Department of Energy, about the current funding opportunities, and what the landscape and what those opportunities look like. So one thing we do virtually, every 2 weeks, we host a virtual office hours where we kind of drill down even more, where different DOE offices can share their funding opportunities. We've talked at length about the Solve It Prize, so we're really happy to see something that we shared back in January come to this first of 3 phases for the winners. And for anyone who is interested in learning more about how to continue to connect with DOE, we're happy to be a resource for you. And we can connect you with a regional engagement specialist who's in your area, who will be, your source of resource for information. And then where necessary, if there's a program that exists in a specific DOE office, we can help you connect with that office as well. So this is a really exciting day to come to this point, but we're even more excited to see how all of the winners today will continue to do their work. And then for the teams that, did submit but may not have been selected, we hope that you learned enough about not only how to connect with DOE and how to, our prizes work, but we're happy to see we're happy to be a resource to you to figure out if there are additional resources to kind of help with your ideas. So I'm looking to connect with everyone on here. We have a great number of people, over 200, and this is a great opportunity to continue our engagement. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Corinne. I'm wondering if we can shift to a discussion about buy-in and how important it is to make sure that we're capturing all the various voices that are present in a community, like the multi-stakeholder perspectives that need to be at the table on something as important as a long-term future energy plan and priorities like that. I imagine it's something that's easier said than done, but Tammy, maybe you can say a bit about how you go about engaging folks from different walks of life in your neighborhood and in programs that you're pursuing. You described the weatherization work, the solar work. What does buy-in look like for you? How do you engage your fellow citizens?
Thank you. Engagement to our organization and to myself look like just getting the community together, like having an event that we get together. We talk about what energy is, what it looks like, what we need to have in our community to make us sustainable, right? And people look at energy and look at the process of this in saving money, right? That's what they look for, because in our communities, our utility bills are so high that our elderly have to decide, do I want to pay my bills or do I want to pay my utility bills? So how can we free them of that and let them know that there's another alternative? So we usually have meetings. We have engagement meetings that we engage them, block clubs. We engage organizational meetings when we're having community meetings. And that way we give events. We give events where we socialize together and we have those tough conversations. So that's how we do it. We engage our communities and the people to which we serve with having events. We go to meetings and we also have events, go to meetings. That's our engagement.
Bringing people together. We
Yes.
talk about the
Yes.
convening function and how important that is.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Tammy. Corinne, I wonder how you approach it in the Office of Community Engagement. What does buy-in mean, and how do you bring in the different perspectives?
I think buy-in is critical for any successful program. If we're thinking about it in the lens of the Solve It program, just even looking at how we set up the rules and how they're needed to be, really strong examples of community as part of the teams, the letter of the support requirement, a discussion on how the project will impact the community, also embedding Justice 40 principles into the application. I think these are clear ways that, we're expressing our interest in the communities, but wanting to make sure that it's the right people who are applying for these programs, and they're connected to not only the community, but universities in their area. We're seeing that some of the awardees are also the city themselves that are applying. So to have like a governmental connection as well, in addition to nonprofit organizations and community organizations, I think is critical to show that kind of buy-in, because then there's that awareness that not only does this project exist in your area, but the communities that are a part of your team can give you feedback, can express their buy-in through the feedback about, how the how the project will progress, what entities will benefit from it. And so I think having as many people at the table at the beginning of the process, and that's kind of why, if you notice, this project, the Solve It Prize, is in 3 phases to allow for not only the ideation, but then the opportunity to fund the capacity building of our teams to then flesh out how their idea will look and then how it will be implemented. So it's not just, oh, this is the idea that we have and we're submitting it and we won and we're going to do whatever we want. No, you're supposed to show who your team is, build that team out. And then each phase of the Solve It Prize kind of grows the capacity of everyone that's involved to ensure that the outcomes that not only were shared at the beginning, but as things change for the community and that team, can really address the energy needs of that area. So I think this prize, and frankly, I'm so excited about all of the Department of Energy prizes that we've had, really do a good job of building the table and allowing people to receive the capacity support, not only financially, but through the technical assistance that's provided through the power connectors and NREL. Those structures really allow the idea that are submitted in that first stage to really grow in a holistic way.
Awesome. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. Christine, do you have a perspective on that?
Sure. Yeah, I could just, I think we all are familiar with the expression that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And I think a lot of folks, because we have such pressing concerns, right, that we want to go fast, but we won't go very far if we don't do it in partnership. And I think that's really important to know, especially when you're earlier on in your work, you need partners, right? And the more partners you have at your table, the more skill sets you can tap into, the more someone's going to have knowledge about something. So one of the tactics that we're trying to explore in some of the programs here at SCEP is how to build more coalitions and regional support for communities, so that who your regional planning association is, or if there's a community foundation that is in your neighborhood that you should know about, so that you're not working in a silo. You're not just engaging, one community-based organization, but listening to multiple different perspectives and needs. And then by having all of those voices, all those skills at the table, you're going to have a more well-rounded sort of tool belt with which to, to execute on. So I do think the coalition building piece of, this work here in this prize and other programs is really critical to the long-term work that is going to, need to take place in order to meet our goals. So yeah, thanks.
That ecosystem dimension, I think, is just as critical as you say. Tammy, I wonder if we can turn back to you and could you tell us a bit about what kind of support DOE could offer that would be meaningful to you and your organization? I believe I understand correctly that you've received support from EPA before, and hopefully that was impactful and great. But just in terms of being in listening mode as the federal government, like, what would help you do the work that you're doing? What kind of support do you and other local innovators like you, what do you need?
I think, I think what would really help to support us is, number one, funding to continue our work. Number two is to help us to identify like partnerships. We have partnerships, but technical partnerships, those technical partnerships that we normally could not receive, those type of partnerships for innovative things like we may want to come out with some other different type of innovative strategies for what we do, for the work that we do in our communities. And there's people that you guys can connect us with that can give us those type of resources, and we can ask those type of questions. Also engaging in more ways of like the application process for the grants. You know, some of the application processes is like, okay, am I getting the right teams together? You know what I mean? Are we putting together this thing in the right way? Like we were saying about the community engagement piece, you were speaking on how to engage the community. So I think putting that sector in place helps benefits us at this level to be able to have partnerships and see how we can engage each other from the community level in that way. So that's how you guys can help us with funding, more technical assistance. I think those things are very important at the grassroots level where we are at this point.
Thanks, Tammy. Corrine, given that your office and really the approach of being so so visible, so engaged on the ground, really going to communities is quite new for the department. What are you learning? What have you seen that's helped to bridge the divide between the federal government, we're often way up here in the stratosphere, and the sort of real life on the ground?
I think what we're seeing is there is a very big thirst for information from nonprofits, community organizations, et cetera, on how to engage with the federal government. In the 3.5 years or so of the Biden administration, there has been this big, strong shift on addressing the climate crisis through the Justice 40 work that we're doing. And we've done, I think, a good job, of implementing it internally. And so the dialogue externally is still something that we need to, I think, put our efforts behind. And I think that's also why our office exists, to just even start that conversation with communities. A lot of communities haven't always thought of the Department of Energy as a place that they should be interacting with. Typically, when we think about how the federal government connects with communities, it's usually the department, it's either, EPA or Department of Transportation that have traditionally had these kind of dialogues about and have been a place where resources are available directly to communities. So it's a whole new ball game for us here at DOE. And so one, there's a thirst for information. And I think once people receive that information, just so that we can slow things down and communicate with them in a way where we're taking these very complicated programs and describing it in a way that everyone can understand. That's also a critical piece in terms of the education that needs to happen. And I think one thing we do, or we're getting better at, is providing that technical assistance to support people through these applications. We know that our traditional funding opportunities that we call FOAs, FOA, can be very cumbersome and are large, and the page requirements are voluminous. And so the work that we're doing to make DOE more of an open door and more attainable through the prizes, and really taking, again, these voluminous applications and making it 20 pages, a slide deck, a video. These are very innovative strategies that we are seeing great impact for through this prize and through others. And I think it's just continuing, one, to let people know that they're available, giving them their information on how to use Hero X, how to, access TA to help them when they're with their applications if possible. And then where necessary, continuing to provide these kind of opportunities. We've seen a number of prizes: the Inclusive Energy and Innovation Prize, the Solve It Prize, the Community Energy and Innovation Prize. So many prizes that we've had, and the pool that we can help is just smaller based on the amounts that we of dollars that we have, but the impact that I've been able to see within the course of 6 months to a year for each awardee is really tremendous. And I think also what I'm learning is, when we connect people to resources and they understand how to apply and how they can submit applications, et cetera, when these teams do go on to be successful, it leads them to finding more federal dollars to then continue that prize work. So information is important, connecting them is important, but then also figuring out how to make these ideas go the long run are something that a lot of people on the ground want to know more about.
Yeah. I think that long run piece is so essential as well. It's not just an immediate, like, here's the one solution and we're good. It's a long game, and communities need support at different junctures along that way. Christine, something Tammy mentioned was technical assistance, and that's something that you do a lot of. You manage some very substantial technical assistance programs. I wonder if you could share a bit about what's worked, what you've seen be effective in the technical assistance arena.
Sure. Yeah, I think what's helpful is also to understand what technical assistance means. Because I think, you first hear it and you think it's highly technical, and sometimes it is, right? Sometimes you really need to talk to a geologist, and if you're, working on a geothermal project, and you need to understand the technical work. But oftentimes it's many other things as well. And it could be things that are tools that are online that could help you do some scenario planning and understanding, if we do X, what will that get us to our goal, versus if we do Y, will that get us there? Sometimes it's just information that's packaged in a nice way, like guidebooks and strategy guides and things like that are like, okay, I already know I want to do this type of project. Someone else out there has certainly done this before, probably many people. What are the steps that they took? What are some of the resources that they've created that I can refer to? And sometimes it is working with an expert, but not maybe a technology expert, but somebody, again, who can help you troubleshoot, help you strategize, help you understand the tools and resources that are available to you. And so we have a variety of types of technical assistance across DOE that folks can access, again, from things that are do-it-yourself, online tools, things that are a little bit more in-depth, peer learning exchanges, those types of things, and then really, really in-depth technical assistance that you can often get through a more competitive program or through a grant program. And so there is really a wide variety. We do have a state and local solution center. I can put the link in the chat for folks that SCEP has put together that really tries to compile a lot of those resources that are available. But I hope Corinne doesn't yell at me for this. But if you have a question and you don't know if there's a tool or something to help, that's what I think OC is so fantastic, is having them as, again, that front door where you can kind of say, hey, is there a resource? Is there some type of assistance that can help me with this particular project? And they can, kind of point you in the right direction. So I know it can be overwhelming. We went from maybe having too few resources for communities to having so many right now that it could be a little overwhelming to navigate. And so that's why having this office and having just, humans who can help you navigate it is so important and so wonderful to have.
I don't mind.
Job security for Corinne. Tammy, I wonder if I'm just so intrigued to learn more about you mentioned workforce development. That's a dimension that we haven't really touched on here. Some of the solar in your community. Yes. Just for those of us who aren't working on the ground in communities like yours, we're in federal office buildings. Could you just tell us a bit more about what barriers you ran into while advancing those projects? You mentioned funding, and we 100%, 200% understand how essential that is. But maybe unexpected ones. Sort of snags along the way that
some of the snags along the way were because our workforce development program incorporates people with disabilities, and every person who you can be in your wheelchair or whatever, and you can still work for this, you can still get the solar installation, not installation, but the solar workforce development program. It encompassed sales, it encompassed community engagement, and it also encompassed where they learn how to do solar installation, right? So some of the snags that we have ran into with implementing our program was getting getting the word out to all of the communities about what we do and about our program. Those were like some of the hurdles that we had. Other than that, I don't see, we didn't have any hurdles with people being interested with the communities that we were able to engage, to come forward and say, okay, we're interested in this program. How does it work? Our instructors are great. The teams are very excited in what they're doing, right? They're either going out, they're doing community engagement, they're doing solar sales, they're helping to do the ground mounts. The funding, the first set of funding came from one of philanthropist funding foundations to do the first cohort. So that's how we started this first cohort. So we're very excited, and we have a solar training house that we're implementing, which we got the funding for. So the training will continue, and it will also include people with disabilities at all levels. So that was the brunt of that.
Thanks, Tammy. I know we're getting towards the end of our time here. I wonder if maybe we could wrap up just with a question for the whole panel around if you. I love this question. Nobody was briefed on this ahead of time, but if you had a magic wand and could affect any change that your heart desired, how would you use it? And I'll let you guys start in your own order. So whoever wants to come off mute.
Well, I want us to have more prizes. I think the Department of Energy in the last 2.5 years has done a wonderful job, with the support of NREL, to develop just so many unique ways for communities, for small businesses, entrepreneurs to connect with us through this mechanism. And if there was a way, if I had a magic wand and we had just $1 billion, I think we could really, I think make more of an impact. But beyond the financial impact, I wish there was a way for us to connect more with the Tammys of the world and really do like holistic strategies for all of our communities, all of our disadvantaged communities that we've identified through the CGES tool, et cetera, to kind of help them with their clean energy solutions. And so hopefully with the Office of Community Engagement, this is something we can do as much as we can and within reason to support with information and to resources. But if we could have more money and more time to do it, I think we'd really see that shift that we need to address the our energy crisis. Yep.
Fantastic answer.
Yeah, I have to say, if there's magic wands involved, then more money, more staff to be able to provide support to there is not a single community in this country that doesn't have a really good idea for a project that they want to implement that DOE could support. And so, just being able to, magic wand to be everywhere, it's provide the support to everybody who's asking for it would be my biggest wish. Obviously that's hard to do, both with money and staff capacity constraints, but I do think there are so many more good projects out there that are coming and that I'm excited to see get further developed and further supported. So I'm using my wand to go big.
I'm piggybacking on the same thing. I feel that more funding instead of 80 projects or 100 projects, maybe we can do as many projects as put in for it, you know what I mean, in all communities. So that's what I would wave my magic wand for: more funding, for more projects, for more disadvantaged communities to be able to take the advantage of this prize, these type of prizes that you guys are implementing right now.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you so much, Corrine. It's been a real pleasure to have this conversation with you all. I hope the audience enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you, audience, for joining us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to cross paths with you again. Bye, everyone.
Bye.